I don't think I've made this very clear in previous videos or even on the description for TattApp on the App Store. I do want to point out that TattApp was designed for the iPad Pro. The reason I focused on the iPad Pro is because the iPad Pro models can run at 120 cycles per second, hence why your machine speed can go this high, 120 cycles per second, which is roughly equivalent to 11.7 volts on some rotary style tattoo machines. Not all, it's just a close approximation. Now this particular iPad model right here, this is a 7th generation iPad. This is not an iPad Pro. And the reason I purchased this was just to see how my app would work on a non-iPad Pro model. Now, these iPads use the 1st generation Apple Pencil, and I'm happy to say that as long as the iPad has Apple Pencil support, TattApp will work with it. There's only one limitation. I do point this out in the description on the App Store, and that is the app will not run at 120 cycles per second. It'll run at 60 cycles per second. That's the difference between the iPads and the iPad Pros. So even though I have this set at 120, it's not going to run at 120. Clearly, we don't have as much screen real estate to work with. However, you can still practice your techniques. So if I'm doing some color packing right through here, notice the Pro mode, the blending still works just fine. There is quite a discrepancy between the values of these two colors. I would definitely want an intermediary value between these two. So I've already dipped in this yellowish color. I'm going to dip in the green just to tint it a little more towards green. And this needle seems a little big. Let me go to a 9 curved mag. And I'm just going to color pack right in between those two. Maybe go towards yellow a little bit. Do a little bit of a rake pass. That's going to give me a little bit more of a blend between these colors. I'm going to rinse, go into my yellow, and then maybe bring it up in value. Add some white here. So as you can see, it works just fine with these non-iPad Pro models, just regular iPads. Again, you want to make sure that your iPad has Apple Pen support, which I think started with the iPad 7. I think that's when they started the pen support. So I don't think iPad 6 and prior have pen support. And you need pen support, otherwise you can't use the app. Like, you can't sit here and choose a color and draw with your finger. It's got to be with a pen because it needs that pressure sensitivity. It needs the direction. So, you know, this hover state that gives you an idea of what the size of your needle is just by gently resting the Apple Pencil on the screen. You can't do this with your finger. The iPad can't tell what direction your finger is pointing. So that's why this app needs Apple Pen support to work. So just like I said before, let's go ahead and clear this canvas really quick. Let's get a new color. So at 120 cycles per second, I'm going to try and just do my hand speed like that. And now I'm going to drop this down to 60 frames per second, 60 cycles per second. Try and do the same speed. You can see that they're almost identical. So that's as fast as this iPad can run, is at 60 cycles per second. So that's roughly 7.4 volts, which is actually pretty close to how I run my rotary machines most of the time anyway. So I still think this is a good practice app. Even if you don't have an iPad Pro, you can still get some good practice with a regular iPad.